So let's read it to make sure. To Jeffrey Epstein, and that's the real Jeffrey Epstein, not Jasmine Crockett's Jeffrey Epstein. This is the real Jeffrey Epstein. From Hakeem Jeffrey's campaign. Dear Jeffrey, we are thrilled that we are working with Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, one of the rising stars of the New York delegation, sometimes referred to as Brooklyn's Barack. Hakeem is committed to electing a Democrat majority in 2014 and is encouraging his friends to participate in a DCCC fundraising dinner with President Obama and Hakeem Jeffries. It ends with a number for Jeffrey Epstein to call to go to the dinner and, quote, get an opportunity to get to know Hakeem better. Here's the evidence. The email speaks for itself. The only stone cold liar in this debate is Hakeem Jeffries. So, Mr. Minority Leader, take a deep breath, chill out, stop lying, stop with the juvenile name calling, and own up to the fact that your campaign solicited campaign cash from Jeffrey Epstein.
Boy. So we got to continue our coverage of what seems to be one of the biggest backfires in Democrat Party history, okay? Because their witch hunt against President Trump when it comes to the Epstein files that they only care about, not because they care about the victims, but they only care about it because they see it as an opportunity to get Trump, to take down Trump. But it seems as if the Democrats are really taking themselves down, because what we have discovered from what has been released thus far is not that President Trump was in bed with Epstein. No. Actually, what we learned is that Epstein hated Trump and he loved Democrats, right? He was a big Democrat Party donor. In fact, he wasn't just a big donor. He was also pulling the strings. Like, for example, Delegate Stacey Plaskett from the Virgin Islands, who claims that the convicted sex offender was just a constituent, was caught texting Jeffrey Epstein during a congressional hearing against Trump, right? In an effort to go after Trump. We've learned that the mainstream liberal media, they were in bed with Jeffrey Epstein as well, too. Again, this is just backfire all around for Democrats and the left. And this is why Hakeem Jeffries is struggling with the embarrassment of dealing with the questions about why is it that now all of a sudden this Trump witch hunt has backfired on the Democrats. Take a look.
Have you spoken to Stacey Plaskett after this controversy emerged?
I have not.
Can you confirm if there was a deal last night to sink the resolution against Congressman Plaskett in exchange for not bringing a central resolution?
We've made clear repeatedly we're not going to unilaterally disarm.
So you're saying there was no deal?
I'm saying we will not unilaterally disarm. Not now, not ever.
Mr. Leader, why wouldn't you speak to Stacey Plaskett?
I said I haven't spoken to her since the Central Resolution went down.
No, about this text controversy.
I have not spoken to her since the Central Resolution went down.
Have you talked to her about this text controversy?
She and I have talked, and it's a private conversation that will remain private.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Are you at all concerned that the recent allegations against Democrats, such as communicating with the sex offender and embezzling FEMA funds, are going to harm the momentum that your party carried out of the elections earlier this month?
We're going to continue to focus on the issues that matter for the American people. Affordability, lower the high cost of living, health care. We've got to fix our broken health care system, and that begins with renewing the Affordable Care Act tax credits.
House Oversight Chairman Comer said yesterday on the floor that you had Jeffrey Epstein over for dinner and took money from him back in 2013. This was after he was on the sex offender list. Any comment on that? And will you be holding members accountable regardless of party affiliation if there were any misdeeds related to the Epstein files?
Was that a serious question or a serious statement from malignant clown James Comer, that I had Jeffrey Epstein over for dinner, that I accepted money from Jeffrey Epstein? What's extraordinary to me about the clown show on the other side of the aisle is that they lie with impunity on things that are objectively verifiable. And why do they do that? It's because for months, Republicans have been burying the Jeffrey Epstein files.
All right, y'all, quick break from the show because this is important. Look, we talk a lot here about standing up for yourself, not letting big corporations, the government, or anybody else push you around. But what happens when real life hits, car accidents, workplace injuries, medical mistakes, and suddenly you're the little guy going up against a massive insurance company? Well, that's where Morgan & Morgan comes in. There's a reason reporters never run out of breaking news. Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. They've recovered over $25 billion for 500,000 clients with more than 1,000 lawyers nationwide, and they're built on one simple idea. For the people. That means when you're hurt, you don't pay them a dime up front. They only get paid if you win. And trust me, these big companies have teams of big lawyers working against you. You need somebody just as powerful fighting for you. When you hire Morgan & Morgan, it's like hiring a legal army that has your back. If you're injured because of somebody else's negligence, you deserve to be paid. So if you've been hurt in an accident, at work, or anywhere in between, don't roll the dice alone. You can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. You can start your claim now by clicking the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on screen from your phone's camera. Because at the end of the day, protecting yourself and your family isn't just common sense. It's conservative values in action. Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? Democrats are struggling. They're struggling big time. Hakeem Jeffries, when his mouth is moving, it's a lie. Basically, everything he says is a confession. He claims that, well, Republicans just lie with impunity. And it's like, well, isn't that what Democrats are doing right now? Like, for example, when it comes to Jasmine Crockett, right, who went on the congressional floor and claimed that Republicans were taking donations from Jeffrey Epstein, but yet it wasn't the Jeffrey Epstein, it was a Jeffrey Epstein. A completely and totally different Jeffrey Epstein than the one that we're talking about here, okay, the sex offender. Yeah, this lie was so bad, so egregious, that even The View has turned against Jasmine Crockett, right? They're calling out Jasmine Crockett for this lie that she told in Congress. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
And well, let's just try this. Both sides of the aisle are hurling accusations about ties with Epstein. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett had to walk back false claims against some Republicans. Even she is involved here. And House Oversight Committee Chairman pointed the finger at Democrats. She is the chairman. Okay, I didn't read that right, but whatever. Take a look.
Democrats have been silent about their colleagues' coordination with Epstein. Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries.
I have no idea what James Comer is talking about in terms of anything that any prior consultant may have sent. He's a stone cold liar, and James Comer knows it.
Folks who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly: Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin.
My team, what they did is they Googled, and that is specifically why I said a Jeffrey Epstein. Unlike Republicans, I at least don't go out and just tell lies. Because it was not the same one, that's fine. But when Lee Zeldin had something to say, all he had to say was it was a different Jeffrey Epstein. He admitted that he did receive donations from a Jeffrey Epstein, so at least I wasn't trying to mislead people.
Okay, wow. It is also false that Mitt Romney and the NRCC took money. What's the NRCC?
The National Republican Congressional Committee.
Okay.
And she named Lee Zeldin, who also did not take
So
money.
It's not true that they took money from Jeffrey Epstein? Yeah. So is this...
It was a different Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay, yeah, it's a different... It's so confusing
But Joy,
and annoying.
This is why people get so frustrated with politicians. Yeah. Something horrible was done. We all agree on that. Epstein engaged in horrific crimes. Yeah. But people care more about, well, my team didn't do it, your team did. Yeah.
And why is this a political issue?
Exactly.
It's a political issue because y'all made it a political issue.
People were dying for this information. There was some sort of list that everybody thought was going to come out, and who's on the list. What's important for us to note is we shouldn't be repeating names that are on the list, because just because your name has, not on the list, but in the documents, just because your name is on the documents doesn't mean that you have done anything criminally irresponsible or illegal or civilly irresponsible.
Or that you were a client.
Or that you were a client. These documents, as I read them, only reflect Epstein's sexual assaults of women and his sexual behavior. So I think that...
And Ghislaine also?
And Ghislaine. And so being named in this suit does not equate to being accused of wrongdoing. And I think that is extremely important because conspiracy theorists seem to not understand or enjoy facts.
Yes.
These are the facts. There is a list. Trump's
name is on the logs, the passenger logs of Epstein's aircraft at least 7 times. That's already been made public. I mean, of course, Trump is denying any and all allegations, but all of that information is out there. Why not just put it to rest and say, release the list?
Because, during Watergate, the phrase came up, the cover-up is worse than the crime. And that's what the issue that I'm having here. Time and time again, Donald Trump has said, I don't really know much about this Ghislaine. I had a falling out with Epstein. He even denied taking part in a 50th birthday sort of book collection and drawing, a suggestive drawing of a woman's body with some pubic hair and what looks to be his signature. He has denied that. Why all of the denial if you truly have nothing to do with this?
Yeah, so again, Sunny Holston asking, why is this political, is so funny to me. It's so funny because you made it political. You guys thought it would be a great opportunity to go after Trump, and now that it's backfiring on Democrats, now all of a sudden, why does this have to be political? Oh, well, you can look at yourself, right? Look in the mirror. That will tell you why it's political, okay? Because you made it the 2025 version of Russia, Russia, Russia. Right now it's Epstein, Trump, Epstein, right? And it's just not working out the way that they thought. So now all of a sudden, I'm so upset that this is political. Oh, right? They're only saying this in response to Democrats getting caught lying, right? Reaching, okay? Jasmine Crockett reaching so hard that she fell over, right? That's what happened.
Sex abuse of children.
When she said, my team looked into this quickly, when you're going to throw out an accusation that big, which we all know this case is that big, just own it, say it was a mistake, and move on, because to then try to say, well, they lie and we don't lie, again, it's the distrust in Congress and our politicians.
But the bottom line is, and you've said this before, Sarah, this is not a partisan issue. This is not a political
issue. Right, but I'm speaking purely to don't sling an accusation out on the congressional floor and not dial it back quickly, abruptly say, I got it wrong, and move on, because it isn't political. It's criminal.
It's hellish at this point. I don't know why there are two sides to an issue about child sexual abuse.
There isn't.
There aren't two sides to it.
Oh, man, this is so funny. These people are so funny to me. They're only saying this because it backfired on Democrats. That's it. Let's be real. Would they be saying this if those emails showed them what they wanted to see, right? If it showed them that, there was some crime committed by President Trump, if it actually proved that, would they be saying this? No, they wouldn't be saying it. They're only saying it because it's backfiring on Democrats. That's it. That's the only reason. Now they're upset that it's political. Oh, God. Oh. Yeah, again, the Democrat Party, they made it political. Sorry. This is what you signed up for. This is what you signed up for. Again, Democrats are going to find out. Right? And they're finding out right now. That's why Jasmine Ratchet is currently crashing out. She's crashing out on her lives, upset, boohoo, whining, crying, white supremacy, racism. She claims that some individual showed up to her office flashing white supremacy gang signs while at the same time coping over the fact that she's getting a lot of backlash for her Epstein lie.
Today, in my office, or he didn't get in my office, but there was a white power supremacist individual flashing white supremacist signs outside of my office at the Capitol. Thank you, Capitol Police, for all you do. I hate that y'all still ain't got your check yet. I just found that out, but I hear it's on the way. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. Because you know what? The whole KKK can decide that they're going to have a meeting right outside my door. And guess what? It's not going to change me being who I am. I just want to be clear about that. So you can save your time, save your energy, and potentially save your bail money and stay your raggedy, racist ass at home. Don't come for me unless I send for you. Got it? Okay. I'm glad we got that PSA out the way. This also happens to be on the day that, all of this is interrelated. So don't tell me he ain't racist, and don't tell me that he doesn't stoke racism in this country. Tossing threats around or whatever, because I'm sorry, but we don't have ethical rules that say that you can't receive text messages or you can't respond to text messages, especially if somebody has a certain record and you can't do it in committee. We all be sitting on our phones and Yes, people be texting. I mean, our staff texts us. Like everybody texts us. Like people, I remember when I had the bleach blonde situation, you know who was texting me? My pastor. Okay. So, like, let me be clear. There is no ethical violation. And so the idea or the audacity to decide that you want to strip a Black woman of her committee assignment because she was texting with Epstein, but you don't even want to dig into the nitty gritty about what the president of the United States was up to? And baby, let me MAGA, listen up, MAGA. Listen, okay?
There ain't no way she doubled down on it.
Lee Zeldin admitted he received a donation from Jeffrey Epstein. That's what I said.
Oh my God, dude. Girl, you crazy for this mess.
It is what it is. Now, whether or not it was that same one.
It wasn't. It was a physician with the same name. Oh my God.
We didn't have time to do all that, but the point is.
Yo, this serpent is trying to say that because they didn't have time to find out the truth before she said it to millions of people, it is what it is.
Let me tell y'all what the point is for the people in the back that are really slow.
Slow, sister honey child. You're the only one that's slow. That's like if I told you I got a gold album signed by Michael Jackson and I tried to sell it to you and it was really just a photo album signed by a podiatrist named Michael Jackson.
You don't kick people off of committees because they've received a donation.
It's not because of the donation. It's because a member of Congress was being fed questions directly and instructed how to conduct a congressional hearing from a known sex offender and felon who had served prison time that happened to be Jeffrey Epstein. And the committee they want to take her off is an intelligence committee.
Because y'all are worried about the wrong thing. Y'all need to be worried about the fact that, like, everybody losing jobs.
This lady cannot be for real. She is doubling and tripling down on this when she got caught dead to rights. And now the people that are calling it out on it, we're slow. Yo. And then she wants to deflect. You got to worry about people losing jobs. Sister honey cornbread, you are a member of Congress and you accused other members in the cabinet of accepting donations from someone they didn't accept donations from. And when you got caught because your staff Googled, I asked them to Google. You can't even admit the mistake.
Y'all, we got real issues.
The clapping. Girl, the issue is that people are supposed to trust you and you got caught on something that is provable, objective, and you can't even admit it, which means the very little trust that anyone would have had for you before is basically zero at this point. Because now you could lie about something, get caught in it, and won't admit it, which means you'd lie about anything. And newsflash, we know that you do. And just to keep it 100, every other member of Congress, for the most part, is a lying serpent as well. Just so we're clear.
But y'all love to listen to right-wing media.
Yeah, I say this all the time. And I think that situations like this are a great example of what I'm talking about. It's easy to be a leftist. You don't have to live in reality. You don't need facts. All you need is narrative, right? You just tell your audience what they want to hear, and it doesn't matter if it's right. It doesn't matter at all. Jasmine Crockett is doubling down on lying, literally lying, misleading the American people. She's doubling and tripling down on that. Even The View is not defending her, right? When The View is like, oh, you lied, right? That's a problem, right? That's a huge problem. When CNN is like, yo, you lied, that's a problem. But instead of just admitting that, hey, we made a mistake, right? Or that, yes, I tried to mislead you. Being honest, no, she doubles and triples down because she knows that her followers are so dumb or so stupid that they're not, again, either smart enough to understand, right, that she misled them, or they don't care because she told them what they wanted to hear, which is that Republicans are in bed with Epstein, right? Well, see, Republicans took donations from Epstein too, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the left. It doesn't matter that the Democrat Party operates, literally only exists because the Democrats think that their voters are ignorant. That's it. The Democrats operate with the assumption that our voters are ignorant. This is why they pulled a stunt where they retracted or redacted Virginia Giuffre's name from the initial email drop in order to mislead their own followers, to mislead the American people about the context of the emails in order to smear Trump. Because again, they believe that you're stupid. And I have to ask this question and I will continue to ask this question, at what point will Democrat Party voters, will liberals, be fed up with the fact that Democrats treat them like they're dumb? You should be insulted, right? You should be insulted that the Democrat Party gaslights the way that they do. You should be insulted. You say, you know what? Like, I'm offended. I'm offended because it seems to me that you think that I'm stupid. And I can't support people that think that I'm stupid, right? I would support somebody that thinks I'm stupid. But it's clear that Democrats do believe that their followers, that liberals, that Democrat voters are stupid. That's what they believe. And that's how they operate. So, again, this is fascinating. And I said this earlier when Democrats first started doing this. I said it's going to backfire. They're not going to get what they want. They're going to end up exposing themselves in an attempt to take down Trump. That's what's going to happen. And Trump is not going to get hurt by this. Democrats can get hurt by it because they're the ones that actually were in bed with Epstein. I don't think they actually thought that it would ever get this far. But now that it has, and we're learning the truth about, again, who was actually in bed with Epstein, you're seeing this backfire in their face, and they're struggling to deal with it. And it's glorious. It really is. It is glorious. This is the most entertaining news story of this week. All of this stuff backfiring on Democrats. You know, some weeks President Trump will have a bad week, but then you can always rely on Democrats the next week to have a worse week, right? So that's what's happening here. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.